SciSec NG, Cybersecurity Challenge Nigeria Initiative, is an organization with key focus on identifying Nigeria's next generation of cybersecurity professionals and connecting them with next opportunities in both the Nigerian space and the international market. We do this by organizing several events, scholarship opportunities, and meetups for these young Nigerians to connect and to be identified with in the global space. So the primary responsibility of covering cybercrime in Nigeria is that of the government and government agencies. However, we have contributed our part by ensuring that we enlighten young Nigerians, both adolescents and adults, youths, and then we also organize conferences, we organize hackathons, we organize capture the flag challenges. We also give them scholarship opportunities, organize boot camps and other activities to help these young minds be engaged against cybercrime and look towards opportunities in cybersecurity and information security at large. SciSec NG has been a beneficiary of one of NDDC's initiatives to actually curb or bridge the gap between startups and global international standards. The particular one we benefited from was the Bridge to Mass Challenge 2021, which we were represented in North Central area, Abuja precisely, and out of the thousands of startups that applied for this, we made it to the top 30 startups, and we engaged in the boot camp, series of boot camps, until we arrived at the top 10 startups for this boot camp.
This is NIDA Impact, your guide to a digital Nigeria.
The bootcamp has uncovered the fact that it is indeed possible for young people in Nigeria to aspire to new heights from an early age. The NIDA DG also saw firsthand a demonstration of some of the computer programs designed by the kids using the knowledge they received from the bootcamp. To learn more on how you can benefit from our activities, kindly log on to our website, that's www.nida.gov.ng, or all our social media handles displayed right on your screen. Until we come your way next time, a special appreciation goes to the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, the Director General of NIDA, Kashfrino CCIE, and the entire management and staff of NIDA for this program. I'm Joseph Johnson. Thanks for your time.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
No matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are, put Nigerian first. No matter where you come from, no matter your need.
Nigeria's energy transition plan projected to create 840,000 jobs by 2060.
The situation requires urgent attention of all stakeholders.
NEMA warns against possible flood devastation in 14 states as national lawmakers call for assistance to impacted communities.
Be always at alert during our electoral security deployments.
IGP recommits to neutrality of the police in next year's elections. Also tonight, ASUU strike. Legal expert reviews implication of brushing off court ruling. Good evening. This is NTA Network News reaching you from Abuja. I'm Cyril Stober. Adiola Komiakere is standing by to join from Lagos in the course of this broadcast. And you can follow it live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on African countries to collaborate more effectively with their Arab partners and work harder in unity towards achieving common objectives, especially as they relate to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And this was while granting audience to the President of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, in New York on the margins of the UN General Assembly. State House correspondent Adam Musambu has the details.
The Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas is visiting President Muhammadu Buhari to express formal appreciation to Nigeria for being a consistent supporter of the Palestinian cause. Regretting that the Palestinian issue had dragged for a long time without commensurate progress, Mahmoud Abbas had told the president that Palestinians have decided to pursue a peaceful path towards resolving the matter, relying on nations like Nigeria. The Nigerian leader said for the actualization of the United Nations resolution, which proposed a two-state solution to the crisis, the rest of the world need to be apprised of the current state of things in order to commit to the way forward. President Buhari also received in audience the former president of Niger, Mahamadou Issoufou, who is the special envoy of the United Nations on joint strategic assessment and governance situation in the Sahel. He assured him of the support of Nigeria in the discharge of his assignment, bordering on seeking political and economic solutions to issues confronting countries in the Sahel. The president stressed the essence of a collaboration between the Lake Chad Basin Commission and the Great Green Wall towards combating the desertification spreading across some African states, as well as finding practical solutions to the displacement of over 30 million persons whose means of livelihood depended on the shrunken Lake Chad. The General Secretary of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, Hussein Brahim Taha, also came calling. Discussions centered on ways of deepening and expanding areas of collaboration and cooperation between Nigeria and the OIC for enhanced mutual benefits.
He pointed out that the OIC was very much ready to help Nigeria with the humanitarian crisis in the northeast of the country in particular, and in other projects such as the recharging of Lake Chad and also in the fight against terrorism. So on the rechargement of Lake Chad, they have a project an engagement with Uzbekistan, which is also a member of the OIC, where they are recharging a river there in Uzbekistan. And so he thinks that there's an opportunity to share experiences and to cooperate and more or less try to replicate what they're doing in Uzbekistan with the Lake Chad.
Hussein Brahim Taha, a Chadian diplomat, assumed duty in November last year. From New York, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the president has also restated the commitment of the federal government to ensure Nigeria's rapid and strategic transition to renewable energy in response to worldwide efforts geared towards the preservation of the environment. He made the commitment while speaking at a closed-door leaders' engagement on climate change convened by the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Here again is State House correspondent Adamu Sambu with the report.
President Muhammadu Buhari had told the meeting that a homegrown, data-backed, multi-pronged energy transition plan has already been launched by Nigeria as a framework in achieving net zero emissions by 2060. He said through the use of emerging technologies and alternative fuels such as hydrocarbon and waste to energy, a pathway would be created for accelerated decarbonization of energy systems that will align with Nigeria's broader developmental aspirations in a fair and just manner. The plan, the president explained, sets out a timeline and framework for the attainment of emissions reduction, as gas plays a critical role as a transition fuel in Nigeria's drive towards achieving net zero emission, particularly in the power and cooking sectors. The clean energy goals of the plan include modernizing the power sector with large-scale integration of renewable energy, as well as enhancing energy efficiency and conservation. This, President Buhari said, is expected to generate 250 gigawatts of installed energy capacity, with over 90% made up of renewables. Expressing his confidence that the plan would put the nation on the path of prosperity, the president said that a careful implementation would create significant investment and opportunities, as it will engender the establishment and expansion of industries related to solar energy, hydrogen, and electric vehicles. This, the president believes, will guide Nigeria's rapid transition to renewable energy and result in the creation of up to 340,000 jobs by 2030 and 840,000 by 2060, driven mainly by power, cooking, and transport sectors. He commended Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi for his tireless efforts in the preparation for COP27 and assured him of the support of the Nigerian government. From New York, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And still from New York, feelers are that Nigeria's message that it is ready and open for business is resonating with investors around the world. This is coming from the opening of the second edition of the Nigeria International Investment Partnership holding in New York. Benny Adams is a man on the ground.
In this hall is the convergence of who is who in the global economy, and the interest is on how to market Nigeria and improve our economy through investment. The event is the opening session of the second Nigerian International Economic Partnership Forum. The first was held in France sometime last year in November, and this is a platform where would be investors get to meet partners and investment deals are signed with the hope of immediate action for long-term gains. President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to lead the conversation on growing Africa's largest economy by attracting investment and by extension minimizing capital flight, especially in education, healthcare, attracting investment in the nation's oil and gas sector, looking for more ways of financing Nigeria's infrastructure, with emphasis on developing export transport corridors, talking about rail, talking about the airport, and a kind of a digital economy, power generation, transmission, and distribution. The president here was represented at the opening session by the chief of staff of Buhari, who committed to taking 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. We will keep you posted on our events.
All right, and back home, Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is pushing the conversation on increased female representation in leadership positions in government and across different sectors of an economic imperative and not a moral duty of men or a mere concession. He stated this in a message to the 2022 Women Directors Conference with the theme Facing Forward, the Evolving Nature of Boards in a Rapidly Changing World. The Vice President stressed that a country that keeps down half of its productive demography is bound to perform suboptimally. He called for increased efforts by governments at all levels in particularly improving girl-child education. Vice President Osinbajo said there is a much larger fight for the future of a large majority of girls who are not even represented in primary schools. He commended the organizers of the conference for their work and the initiative. On the subject of flooding, Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, has advised governors of 14 states to immediately evacuate communities in flood frontline areas to avert a looming disaster. He stated this at the emergency technical meeting on flood situation in view of the release of excess water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
29 out of the 32 states of the country predicted to experience higher probable risks of flooding by NISA have been heavily flooded. This emergency technical meeting, the NEMA board says, is to harmonize all efforts to consider the activation of emergency operation centers to coordinate the flood disaster response in all the states at high risk.
The situation requires urgent attention of all stakeholders to match this early warning with early action. Consequently, I want to advise all the governments of the frontline states to move away communities at risk of inundation, identify safe higher grounds and evacuation of persons, and proposition adequate stockpile of food and non-food items, portable water, hygiene, safety, and security to enable them a fair level of comfort during periods of possible displacement.
We have been advocating conservation, that you can do a kind of channelization, do a kind of construction whereby this huge amount of water passing through a territory, you can divert it some kilometers, go and create another city.
In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives has urged relevant authorities to reach out to communities affected by flood disasters towards alleviating the plight of residents. This was in response to a matter of urgent public importance raised by Representative Abubakar Hassan Fulata and 9 other members during plenary earlier today. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Long rainfall, as predicted by Nigeria Meteorological Agency, is wreaking havoc on communities. Representative Fulata said, at the last count, more than 80 villages in 2 local government areas of Jigawa State have been submerged.
Residents of the affected communities are living in total fear of being permanently displaced by raging floods, as well as attendant destruction of properties and outbreak of diseases, even as they are currently facing untold hardship in the aftermath of the flooding.
The House stressed the need for authorities to consider dredging and fortifying dams to prevent flood disaster. Plenary featured the second reading of the bill to establish Federal University of Transportation, Daura, forwarded from the Senate for concurrence. The bill elicited debate as to whether or not Parliament should suspend passage of academic institution establishment bills, considering the financial burden on governments.
So we continue to bring bills for university establishment at this point in time when we know there's even no revenue.
I still cannot fathom why executives should by fiat be establishing institution and later will not come to ask us to legalize it. Until we have a development plan to say this is what we're going to do. But for now, every sector and every community is struggling to have one infrastructure or the other.
I think that it is not wise that we shut down every voice of every member on this floor as it relates to sponsoring a bill for establishment of either College of Education polytechnic, or university in their various communities.
It is also going to go a long way in creating employment for our teeming unemployed youth.
I think this matter will be resolved when we pass the amendment to the NUC.
Plenary was adjourned to Tuesday, 27 September 2022. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Let's take our first break. We'll be back shortly.
To the unity of our great country, Nigeria. Let us support our armed forces. Let us stand together with them. Let us stand for them.
A symbol of unity.
The gallant men and women of the armed forces
on land, air, and sea,
who have continuously put their life on the line, protecting our life, humanity, and nation.
Let us join them and stick together as one, irrespective of our misunderstanding, be it political, cultural, or ideological.
Our uniqueness is our oneness, our strength is our diversity.
Let us stand by, stand with, and support our armed forces to keep this nation together.
Nigeria is my own. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is our own.
Wake up the champion in your child. Give them energy to go further. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child. Milo.
They say nothing good comes easy, but with determination and sheer focus, Boa Foods finds new ways to put food on many plates. We produce competitively priced sugar, flour, and pasta that are highly sought after by our corporate and trade partners. At Boa Foods, we remain committed to lead with purpose and make a difference by embracing the responsibility to meet Africa's growing food demand. We dare to lead, so can you. Boa Foods, nourishing lives.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill. And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Rainy season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol Show.
The National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) cordially invites all heads of broadcast stations, political correspondents, anchors of current affairs programs, INEC, chairmen and publicity secretaries of political parties, NGOs, civil society organizations, religious bodies, and the general public to a forum on political broadcast with the theme "Towards a Fair and Responsible Broadcast Coverage of the 2023 General Elections, a Multi-Stakeholder Dialogue." The forum will hold as follows: Enugu, Friday, 23rd September 2022 at Bond Diamond Hotel, Enugu. Abuja, Monday, 26th September 2022 at NAF Conference Center, Abuja. Chairman of the occasion, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Guest speaker, INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu. Special guest of honor, EFCC Chairman, Mr. Abdul Rashid Bawa. Chief host, Director General, NBC, Malam Balarabe Shehu Ilela. Forum will start at 10 a.m. each day. Come and partner with the Commission to ensure the professional coverage of the 2023 electoral process. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting. Balarabe Shehu Ilela, Director General, Announcer.
Thank you. Hi there. You can price shop, but you're always saving on everything except for here. This is where you're throwing money down the drain. How? On this cleaning product. Impossible. You need the new Harpic toilet cleaner. With just 130 naira sachet of Harpic toilet cleaner, you save more. Harpic stick formula stays longer, so it cleans 10 times better. Wow, Helen! And it saves because it's only 30 naira, giving you a sparkling clean toilet and great savings too.
The Board of Trustees, the management of the Muslim Ummah of Southwest Nigeria, Muswin, cordially invite distinguished guests to the launch of its 10 billion naira endowment fund. Venue, Oriental Hotels, Victoria Island, Lagos. Date, Sunday 25th of September 2022. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion is Alhaji Sulaiman Adegua, Chairman, Right Foods Limited. Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Majesty Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetono Ogbagba II, the Awujale of Ijebuland. Special guest of honor, Alhaji Tajuddin Fola Adeola, chairman and founder, Faith Foundation. Spiritual father of the day, Sheikh Hafiz Abu, the Baba Adini of Lagos. Chief host Alhaji Rasaki Oladejo, President. Most when attendance is strictly by invitation. Announcer Professor Mosle T. Yahya, Executive Secretary, Muswen.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, last we heard, the Academic Staff Union of Universities indicated that it will appeal Wednesday's ruling of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, which ordered the union to call off its ongoing nationwide strike and resume work. ASUU has been on strike since February 14 to press home demands for improved funding for universities and a review of salaries for lecturers, among other issues. Now, several meetings held between ASUU and the federal government ended in a deadlock. The federal government consequently had gone to court to challenge the strike, leading to the interlocutory injunction directing ASUU and its members to return to work. Now, Luke Oko, a constitutional lawyer and public affairs analyst, joins us to review this ruling and what it portends for the ASUU government industrial face-off. Thanks for coming on Network News.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Take us through the standard procedure. ASUU president says they will appeal. Now, does an appeal automatically result in a stay of execution, or will lecturers have to go back to work pending when a superior court makes that pronouncement?
Ordinarily, when parties submit themselves to the jurisdiction of the court, parties are supposed to be bound by the ruling of that court. So, in this case, ASUU is supposed to be bound by the ruling of the court directing that they should go back to work pending the determination of the matter. Filing of an appeal does not operate as a stay of execution of that judgment. ASUU is not saying what we want. ASUU has not filed a stay of execution. ASUU is only saying we are dissatisfied with this ruling and we want a higher court to review whether the court in the first instance was right in giving that ruling. And so the proper thing for ASUU to do is to respect that ruling. That is on the one hand. However, whilst I'm not sitting on appeal over the judgment of my Lord Justice Hammond, when a court should also be careful in giving rulings and judgment. Because, for instance, if the ASUU, before ASUU will arrive at this kind of decision, ASUU will have to convene a meeting of the National Executive Council, and of course, after that, they will arrive at the decision directing all their members to go back to work. And so you have members scattered across all states of the federation. If they refuse to go to work, are you going to hold ASUU responsible? And so if ASUU makes a pronouncement from Abuja, for instance, at the neck, is it going to effectuate going back to work? And so, to my mind, the proper thing to do, therefore, is for ASUU and government to go back to the negotiation table. And I think that what government has done is to, in this instance, employ what you call the stick approach, because like you rightly said before now, ASUU and the federal government have been engaging. There have been discussions. Various people have intervened at the level of talk. And so what the government has done now perhaps is to open another vista to say, look, these are the provisions of the law, like Section 18(1) of the Trade Dispute Act, Section 47, which were relied upon by the government lawyer and could have been explored.
Well, fine. Minister of Labour and Employment has said the government would now order vice chancellors to reopen the universities. Now, what happens if the universities reopen and the lecturers are not there?
Precisely, that is the point. You see, when you say you make an order, the vice chancellors have not been on strike because they are management staff. Management staff have not been on strike. but the schools, our lecture theaters are not open because those who should operate the lecture theaters, in this case, the lecturers, are on strike. They are aggrieved and for good cause, and these cause have not been met. So it goes beyond saying go and reopen the universities. The universities remain open. The lecture theaters can be open if the lecturers are not there. And so, like I said, until we come to a point where everybody sits on a table and we discuss holistically in the interest of all affected parties. And one of the most affected parties by this are the students. They've been at home for 7 months. And like I said, incidentally, I was here about 3 weeks ago. And like I said, ASUU should also realize that eventually, because at that point we're talking about no work, no pay, and all of those kind of things. Eventually, when we resolve this, the students would have lost much.
All right. Okay.
The students would have lost much, and at that point, maybe we'll be talking about a hush-hush program. What happens when we do this hush-hush program to meet up calendars and times that have been lost? Sometimes is that, we end up churning off half-baked people. And so, let us come back to the discussion table, ASUU, government, and all of us. And like I said before, we need to engage professionals in this discussion. And ASUU needs to, in the national interest, also look at what can be done so that everybody can go back to work and everybody can smile. And then government also needs to be very sincere. Government needs to be very deliberate about what it's going to say and about what it's going to do about this ASUU crisis, so that we'll put it to rest once and for all.
All right, we'll have to leave this at this point here. Luke Oko, constitutional lawyer, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Right. In other news, the main opposition party, PDP's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar's blueprint for Nigeria's development has been described as an adaptation of President Buhari's achievements since coming into office. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this at a media briefing in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
Conference, therefore, is aimed at exposing the hypocrisy, deceit and emptiness inherent in the opposition that condemns an administration, while also showcasing a blueprint that is nothing but a poor version of what is on ground today.
Describing Atiku Abubakar's claim as one which has no bearing, it is erroneous for the PDP presidential flag bearer, who is accusing President Muhammadu Buhari's administration of non-performance, to turn around and use present achievements which are very evident as his blueprint. He noted that anyone using such claims as campaign stunts without acknowledging what the present administration has done so far is cheap and disingenuous.
The former vice president said in his economic blueprint, and I quote, rebuilding infrastructure and reducing infrastructure deficit will enhance the carrying capacity of the economy and unleash growth and wealth creation. End of quote. No one understands this better than the Buhari administration. Even our worst critics will agree that our record on infrastructure development is next to none in the history of this country.
On power, Lai Mohammed said it is apparent that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is far from the current efforts by the federal government in the sector, hence his futile power sector reform promise.
We then promised to propose legislation to, among others, give states the power to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity. It is apparent that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has not heard of the Siemens partnership with the federal government under the Presidential Power Initiative.
Describing Atiku's poverty reduction promise as well, the minister lamented over the former vice president's lack of information on the numerous poverty alleviation programs and schemes currently going on in the country.
Could it be that His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has not heard about the National Social Investment Program, the unprecedented program that is directly and indirectly impacting the lives of poor Nigerians and creating jobs, especially for the youth?
Lai Mohammed equally faulted Atiku Abubakar's promise that when elected, his administration would partner with the private sector to invest in infrastructure. The minister, while acknowledging that Nigeria may be facing economic challenges, the former vice president's pronouncement that the future of the country's economy is bleak is sheer scaremongering. Talking about debt portfolio, the minister maintained that Atiku Abubakar got it all wrong. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The federal government has unfolded activities lined up for this year's independence anniversary. Here again is Anthony Forson.
Announcing the events lined up to commemorate this year's Independence Day celebration, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said the press conference kickstarts the events, which will be followed on Sunday 25th of September with a church service at the National Christian Center, Abuja, by 3 p.m. It will then be followed by a public lecture focusing on national unity on Thursday, September 29th at the State House Conference Hall by 10 a.m. On Friday, September 30th, there will be a special Jumat prayers at the National Mosque. Saturday, October 1st, President Muhammadu Buhari will address the nation in a nationwide broadcast by 7 a.m.
Gentlemen, celebrating our independence anniversary is a reminder that in spite of the challenges we faced as a nation, Nigeria and the U.S. have remained resilient and committed to the unity of our country. Let me also reiterate the commitment of this administration to promoting the unity, security, and stability of our country. Before I round up, let me use this opportunity to announce that a award of national honors will be held as part of the second anniversary celebration on October 11, 2020 in Abuja, here. The Honorable Ministers of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs will give the full details later.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The Nigeria Police Force has banned all quasi-security outfits in states and local communities from electioneering campaigns and other politically related activities. Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba, at a meeting of strategic commanders in Abuja, directed the commissioners to convey the ban to their state governors, local government chairmen, community leaders, and the leadership of all political parties in their commands for their guidance. Francis Form reports.
Ensuring the safety and security of all persons and property that will be involved in the entire electoral process without bias and strict enforcement of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is what this meeting of top ranks of the force is looking at.
That any unauthorized quasi-security agent found to be engaging in any election or political activities stands the risk of being arrested and prosecuted along with their collaborators. Redirect your intelligence activities to monitor possible elements that might be attempting to threaten the electioneering campaign process.
With barely 6 days to lifting the ban on political campaigns by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the meeting is also strategizing on best ways to address security, traffic and crowd management at venues of political parties' campaigns.
In the performance of these roles, we are expected to maintain an oath of neutrality in accordance with the Electoral Act. Be always at alert during our electoral security deployments. Exhibit a high degree of professionalism and fairness in our dealings with all parties.
As critical actors in the electoral process, the outcome of the credibility of the 2023 general elections will be measured by the extent to which we abide by this professional and legal standard as we interface with other political parties. Francis from NTA News.
Time to link up with Adeola in Lagos for more news. Adeola.
Thank you, Cyril. A lawless society, they say, breeds anarchy and doom, and that is why few days to the approved date for the commencement of political campaigns ahead of the 2023 general elections, the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) deemed it urgent to sensitize multi-stakeholders, especially broadcasters, on the need to avoid sanctions that follow the flouting of NBC electoral codes and other laws in the interest of the country. Amaka Owo completes the report.
Nigeria has its checkered story as far as election is concerned. The reason why the National Broadcasting Commission continues to sensitize the media owing to the role of the practitioners to the stability of the nation, with the theme towards a fair and responsible broadcast coverage of 2023 general elections. The NDDC was loud and clear that practitioners must operate in line with extant electoral laws.
We don't want politics to overheat the present situation, to make it worse. And how can you stop it? Is by making sure that you control, you make sure that the programs, the news are verified.
In the presentation titled Effective Programming in an Election Period, the Broadcaster's Challenge, an ace broadcaster, Ray Yusuf, clarified how broadcast stations should handle production of political programs.
Stations should have a political program review committee. If you don't, please set up one.
That report you want to give, either communication of the result, the winner, violence in places, and all of those. What is your choice? Is it going to make Nigeria better or worse?
The Lagos State Police Command, on its part, is ever poised at ensuring adequacy of domestic peace, law, and order in Lagos.
The Nigerian Television Authority was well represented at the forum.
People need to convince themselves or remind themselves of the electoral broadcast code and the whole government needed to ensure that we have free, fair, and credible elections.
Some parts of NBC code stipulates that broadcast stations have the right to sell airtime for political campaigns. It further, however, explains that this must be done within the ambit of the law. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
The once troubled water in the Gulf of Guinea is surrendering to pressure, courtesy of Nigeria's waterways security architecture called the Deep Blue Platform. And this success is attracting growing interest and support from the international community, all geared towards sustaining the zero-level piracy rate. Michael Olaleye in this report takes a look at the Deep Blue Platform and what has changed since its inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari in June 2021.
Unprecedented calmness returning to the Gulf of Guinea. A change in fortune in maritime crimes and incidents of piracy within the country's exclusive economic zone. From dealing with 31 attacks in the first 6 months of 2018, Nigeria, according to the International Maritime Bureau, IMB, has not recorded any crime at sea since the start of the year. The unseen hands changing the spectrum of intervention against maritime offenses and disturbances is the Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure, codenamed Deep Blue Project.
It gives credibility to our environment. It enhances Nigeria's chances in getting into the IMO Security Council.
The security masterpiece has experienced a whole lot of addition since it came on board, such that there are now 17 fast interceptor boats, 2 special mission vessels, 16 armored vehicles deployed to the long-stretching creek in the Niger Delta, 2 special mission aircraft, 3 special mission helicopters, and 4 unmanned air surveillance, which can travel 100 kilometers to collect data for 10 hours, apart from the C4I Center.
When we see you are carrying out any illegal activity, we can easily command any of our platforms out there to proceed towards there to intercept.
Nigeria, as a result of the deployment of the Deep Blue platform, has not only exited the list of piracy-prone countries, but attracting international interest.
The South Korean government, they have given us a donation of a warship also. Any moment from now will be in Nigeria. The Nigerian Navy, they are coordinating to bring that ship. Then suddenly the Japanese government came also. They came with, I think, with an aid of $2.7 million US.
Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency believes this development places the country on the right path at ending the 25 years of paying war risk insurance premium, with the hope that non-kinetic approach like vocational training and skills acquisition will help to sustain the downward trend curve.
We try to introduce marine litter marshals, whereby we have over 1,000 people that we employ. We are giving them stipend of 50,000 naira per month.
The complementary role of the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act is making Nigeria a point of reference on how best to sail against a turbulent storm. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
And that concludes our contribution from Lagos. But do not forget that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. The network news will continue after this break. To stay on.
Your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
And experience extraordinary value with Bracketed times 10.
Simple.
Get 10 times or every airtime recharge, up to double your data and free 1,000 naira welcome credit.
And it's for new and existing Glow customers.
10 times the value of every recharge you make. Get it only on Glow. Dial *777# or get a Glow SIM today with Glow Bracketed times 10.
Thank you, Glow.
Are you aware that your perfect family may be under threat by germs? Germs can cause infectious disease. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. Illness-causing germs are everywhere. In unclean bathing water, on your clothes, dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. In your bathing water, in your laundry, for surface cleaning, for first aid, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Use Dettol Shore.
Wake up the champion in your child. Give them energy to go further. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child.
Thank you. Hi there. You can price shop, but you're always saving on everything except for here. This is where you're throwing money down the drain. How? On this cleaning product. Impossible. You need the new Harpic toilet cleaner. With just 130 naira sachet of Harpic toilet cleaner, you save more. Harpic stick formula stays longer, so it cleans 10 times better. Wow, Helen! And it's safe because it's only 30 naira, giving you a sparkling clean toilet and great savings too.
Closing the boss brain with another banger. This one now better get 10 times. 10 times of everything you told me say you recharge. To double your data recharge. It's new and existing Glow customers. New customers will get extra bonus credit. So get your new Glow SIM today. That's a 777#.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be a patient? If you must worry, don't worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
EcoNafest 2022, Nigeria's biggest cultural festival, the festival that unites the nation. Date 7th to 13th November 2022 at the National Stadium and the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos. For sponsorship and support, please call Ade 0813 415 4562, Aking 0803 067 5818, Carlo 0803 544 7776. NAFEST, using culture to unite the nation. Chairman, National Festival Planning Committee, announcer.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill. And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Rainy season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
We're back in Abuja now. The National Economic Council at its virtual meeting this Thursday received briefings on the need for states to adopt strategies to step up service delivery in the grassroots and also on how to mitigate flood disaster this season. Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, is now to serve as interim chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum as outgoing Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, says goodbye to NEC. State House correspondent Jide Unifadi reports.
Council was briefed by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development and the National Emergency Management Agency on flood risk reduction efforts and the havoc wreaked by flooding in the country, and warned that states must pay attention to the warnings from various relevant authorities.
State governments are to work closely with NEMA.
Deputy Governor of Gombe State, Manasseh Daniel Jato, says Council received various presentations, which includes that on COVID-19 and monkeypox, as well as vaccination in the country.
Vice President commended Governor Fayemi of Ekiti State, and on behalf of the Council, noted that he especially in his role as chair of NGHEB, noted his informed and patriotic contributions to the work of NEC. The Vice President also commended the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Olushola Idowu, as she retires from public service. Earlier, Governor Fayemi had commended the VP for ensuring that as NEC chairman, that the Council has done a lot to ensure that the country is a true federation, and expressed his appreciation to the Council, the Vice President, and also the President.
Laura Conde speaks on the exit of Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State from the National Economic Council in the State House. Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Time now for business news with Musa.
Thank you, Cyril. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has directed all commodity associations participating in Anchor Borrowers Program to ensure full recovery of loans disbursed to farmers. To this end, CBN officials and Maize Association of Nigeria engaged beneficiaries from Southeast and South-South on the loan recovery plan.
We all agree that we are going to, firstly, let us identify the actual amount due to each and every state. We are going to write a demand notice to all the defaulters, all the farmers collected this input.
The existence of this Anchor program is being threatened by the outstanding loans yet to be repaid.
The Anchor Borrowers Program has facilitated increase in maize production from 15 million metric tons in 2015 to 22 million metric tons in 2021. Thursday trading session closed on a negative note in the equities market. The all-share index fell 0.47% at 49,190.34 basis point. 126.8 million shares valued at 1.7 billion naira exchange hands in 3,117 deals. Equity capitalization fell to 26.5 trillion naira. GX Group, Zenith Bank, and Fidelity Bank were the most traded shares. Well, that's a quick look at business news. It's back to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Buza. The interim administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Effiong Akwa, has inaugurated the NDDC Staff Cooperatives Water Factory in Port Harcourt. He has also unveiled the Commission's banking app. Osinachi Abraham reports.
Clean Water Factory is a brainchild of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Port Harcourt Staff Cooperative Investment and Credit Society. The factory has the capacity to produce 2,400 premium bottles of water per hour, with 2 state-of-the-art PET blowing machines, gel line and sachet water machine. And to guarantee steady power supply, there is a brand new 250 kVA generating set, transformer amongst others.
NDDC Staff Cooperative has withdrawn 56 unemployed persons from the streets in River States and engaged them meaningfully in the water factory. I have gone through the factory. The factory is producing well. I've gone through the lab. They have a water blowing machine. So in addition to serving your factory here, they are going to serve other water companies around here by providing them with bottles and providing quality water that has passed through all the stages of water treatment. I want to thank all of you. I'm fulfilled. It is for that reason that I've even instructed that going forward, we don't have any reason to drink any other water apart from SB, the snow blue water. This will be served in NDDC head office and all the 9 state offices of the Niger Delta Development Commission.
The interim administrator promised to rehabilitate the 1-kilometer road that leads to the factory for easy accessibility. Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
The issue of access to information as a springboard to youth inclusiveness and participation in governance was brought to bear earlier today at a meeting between members of the Youth and Civil Society Coalition for Development and the management of the Nigerian Television Authority NTA in Abuja. Umenka Marachuku reports.
Some ugly behaviors often identified with the youths, such as drug abuse, thuggery and other social vices, seems to have eclipsed potentials of the youths to contribute to nation building. To further enhance the capacity of youths, Youth and Civil Society Coalition for Development is leveraging the wide range of the Nigerian Television Authority to drive on behavioral change among the youths.
The partnership that we are doing in sensitizing and creating awareness for the Nigerian youth and our communities in the country. We have, in collaboration with the NTA, we have done a lot of series of programs, lectures, sensitization and workshops with the support of National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA.
Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Abdul Hamid Salihu Dembus, who was represented by the Executive Director Administration and Training, Professor Steve Ebu, commended the group for the initiative and reinstated commitment of the NTA on the unity and harmonious coexistence of Nigerians through insightful programs and news reportage.
The youths form a bulk of our population today, and they need proper harnessing to be able to function optimally for the well-being of the society and their families.
There is the expectation that the growing synergy between the two organizations be sustained for societal benefits. In Abuja, Umenka Marachuku, NTA News.
Time for another quick break. Stay with us.
Wake up the champion in your child. Give them energy to go further. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child.
Milo. Forget last season. Forget the winners and the losers. Forget every moment that stole the show, because this is a brand new season on Go TV, and it's going to be bigger and better than any season before it, with over 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seats in the house this new football season. Get a decoder, Go Tenor plus 1 month Go TV Max for 6,900 naira only. Bigger season, greater football. Go TV, love it.
The security challenges
we are faced as a government have been daunting, from terrorism to banditry, to kidnapping, to separatist violence, to crude oil theft, to armed robbery and sundry crimes. It's undoubtedly the greatest challenge to the peace and security of our great country since the Civil War of 1967 to 1970. It is a kind of challenge that would have overwhelmed many nations. But thanks to the purposeful leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, we can say, I want to repeat, that the worst is over, and peace and security are gradually returning to the land.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Now for a quick check on sports.
The Super Eagles squad in Constantine is now complete with the arrival of goalkeeper Francis Uzoho and defender Ebube Dudu on Wednesday. Head coach Jose Pesiro has approved a training game against Algeria's B squad on Saturday in order to see a number of new and returning players in action ahead of the official international friendly against the Phoenix in Oran Tuesday evening.
Playing against Algeria is one of the top teams in Africa. We have to show them respect, and but at the same time, even though it's a friendly game, we'll be here to try and win the game, and prepare ourselves for the qualifiers that will be coming up next. So,
Team Akwa Ibom in blue jersey defeated Team Taraba 4-3 via penalties in the men's final football match as the 3-day annual National Youth Service Corps Sports and Cultural Festival ended in Abuja Wednesday. Trophies and medals were presented to winners in athletics, volleyball, and football.
The spirit of sportsmanship is there with them. It's healthy rivalry. Everybody wants to be the champion, but they are doing it in a very healthy way.
But this has encouraged them to come back, to come and excite physical something. So that at least sports will change that thing, and the importance of sports in health development in this country.
Elsewhere, technical officials of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, say they are poised towards adding value and improving the quality of athletic officiating after being exposed to a 5-day capacity building on modern trends and technicalities in the game in Abuja.
These are the people who have been prepared to ensure that in case we have international competition around here, they are judged, qualified by the World Athletics Standard to officiate international competitions within the country.
The 5-day capacity building program ends on Friday. That's sports update. I am Kenan Ima Abudike, NTA News.
The death has occurred of Nze Maxwell Chidi Ezeokoli of Umuekbili in Agwata local government area of Anambra State. Age 74, late Nze Chidi Ezeokoli was a community leader. He will be buried in his hometown on Friday, the 23rd of September. He is survived by his wife, children, among whom is Ijoma Okoli, owner of NTA Programs Directorate, grandchildren, brothers, and in-laws. A special broadcast of the media briefing by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, on activities lined up to mark Nigeria's 62nd independence anniversary comes up immediately after the network news. All stations are to remain on the network service. And that concludes the news. Remember, the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Stand with the NTA. I'm Cyril Stover. Good night.
NTA, you can't be Deutsch. Information is power. Everyone wants power. To feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center, real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
This is the network service of the NDA.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Last week, the presidential candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party, the PDP, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, spoke on his economic blueprint at an event in Lagos. Let me say straight away that the so-called blueprint is a crude attempt at copying all that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has done, especially in the areas of job creation, infrastructure, financing, relationship with the private sector, rejuvenation of the power sector, poverty reduction, debt management, and the overall management of the economy. I will give details in the course of this press conference. But it is more shocking that an opposition that has condemned all that this administration has done will turn around to weave its so-called economic blueprint around the same things that are currently being done by the same administration. This press conference, therefore, is aimed at exposing the hypocrisy, deceit, and emptiness inherent in the opposition that condemns an administration while also showcasing a blueprint that is nothing but a poor version of what is on ground today. Let's start with infrastructure. The former vice president said in its economic blueprint, and I quote, rebuilding infrastructure and reducing infrastructure deficit will enhance the carrying capacity of the economy and unleash growth and wealth creation. End of quote. No one understands this better than the Buhari administration. Even our worst critics will agree that our record on infrastructure development is next to none in the history of this country. Across the country, this administration has constructed 8,352.94 kilometers of roads. We have rehabilitated 7,936 kilometers of roads. We have constructed